Mike, what is your time frame for wanting to do this? Is this something we need to There are certain legal implications here that we need to address.
We've already bid this project out and awarded it and can get started on it, you know, any day now, but we do have a lot of work to do on our own property, so that, you know, if it took 3 or 4 weeks to iron out the fine details of this, I don't see that impacting us at all, because we've got plenty of other work. We've got a bore underneath the football stadium, and it's a long run from the south end of the stadium up to Jenkins Road. So there's a lot of work that we could, you know, we can work around this.
I think the consensus I'm getting here is that we'd like to try to do this, but we need to be sure that we don't step on our toes in the process. And what I would suggest that we do is we refer this to Don to get him to work out the legal fine points of the distinction that you mentioned between the public and the private, and work out the best way for us to accomplish the goal.
The global sense, I agree with you, Jack, but I'm simply not going to support something like this when we're making the distinction, because it's exempting a government entity from our regular rules. I think that's just a bad public policy to do that. And we don't want to be inconsistent with what you've done from 1 month to the next. That's fine. But I put my objection on the record.
If I could just point out again, and please step in. I forget, I think it was Pete Nelms who was saying that the very real hazard associated with that chlorine gas on site and the threat it could pose. And under this project, you would eliminate that threat. Might be a distinction between this project and the old one.
We might have some problem. They're still utilizing chlorine gas.
They're using tablets now, but we did have a fire at the plant, I'll say roughly 10 years ago, when we were using chlorine gas, and we had a chlorine, very small chlorine gas cloud, you know, went up. We had to shut down the HVAC systems in the school. But that is an issue that we would prefer not to continue to run that plant adjacent to an educational facility.
18 years.
But I believe we do use like chlorine tablets now. And then it's, you know, it's sprayed out, the effluent is sprayed out on the acreage there.
The churches will never be part of the state, so they're always going to be.
Would you withdraw your motion and allow us to let Don?
No.
Okay. And I have a motion on the table. Any further discussion?
Tell me what kind of legal ramifications you're talking about.
Well, there is, in my mind, there is a distinction twofold. Number one is that he mentioned the public versus the private, and I think that is a bona fide distinction. Number two is that in the first case, we're talking about running through the right-of-way to some distant point. In this, as I understanding, we are running from county property into the city. There is no intermediate.
Well, it's 1,000 feet on this one, or is it?
510 feet.
105 linear feet, not 1,050 feet. How far is the whole sewer going to run? I'm about 2,000 feet on the other one. The distance doesn't seem to make any difference if it's 10 feet or 2,000 feet.
But in the other
You're doing
case,
the same thing.
but in the other case, you were fronting on private property for some significant distance. On this, you are not. Now, if that makes a distinctive difference or not, I don't know. That's my question that I would really like a legal opinion on.
Well, it don't make any difference to me. I don't see how you can come up with anything else. You're going down our right of way in both cases.
Yeah, but
So what's the distinction?
you're talking about an access issue.
Access.
Correct. If you're running past private property, then the argument is that you cannot deny access for that private property under that sewer line, regardless of whether it's in the county right of way or not. In this particular case, you're not fronting any private property, you're going directly into the city. directly into the sewer.
So are you referring to that 500-foot rule where if you're within 500 foot?
Yes.
We would be within 500 foot of the town of Tyrone's line with our property already. If I'm correct, if you're saying we only got 150 feet to go from our property to the line that's already there, we meet that requirement ourselves.
Yeah, sure do.
Just thought I'd throw that out.
It still requires an easement to go through the county right away. Or should require an easement.
Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Hearing none, I'll call the question. If you would support the motion to extend the sewer line, grant an easement, is that appropriate? Is that what we're doing? Grant an easement through county property to attach to the town of Tyrone sewer by the Board of Education. You signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Now,